All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Uh, Today, I'm really excited and looking forward to be discussing a very important topic with a very accomplished panel. First of all, welcome to you to our panel discussion on public procurement in India, organized by Insights International and Desire Innovation Hub, Desire Foundation. Uh, Over the next 1 hour, we would be discussing with experts from different perspectives, from different walks of lives, people who have worked with the government of India, people who are there with the World Bank, people who are economists, then newer, younger public affairs professionals on one of the most important aspects that gives an insight into how efficiently a government is functioning, how the developmental trajectory of a particular nation is going, and what is the relationship between private sector and the government. And all of this is reflected by the practices of public procurement. And that is what we are going to be discussing over the next 1 hour. I'm briefly going to introduce all of our panelists. I'm just going to read their titles, but you can look them up and you can reach out to them, connect with them on LinkedIn, in general, through the internet. And after my introductions, I will invite a very brief introductory statement by all of the panelists, post which we will jump into a Q&A session. Towards the end, we'll have some time to have Q&A with the audience as well. So be prepared with your questions, whoever is joining us. All right, without further ado, let me welcome Dr. Deena Nath Pathak, who is the former head of department CCA, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Human Resource Development at the Government of India. Dr. Pathak, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to be here.
Hi, good evening.
Uh, Next, we have Ms. Sahana A. Sullia, who's the co-founder of infiNiti Solutions. Sahana, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you here.
Hi all.
Hi, Sahana. Then we have with us Dr. Adu-Gyamfi Abunyewa, Senior Procurement Specialist at the World Bank. Dr. Adu, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. But let me correct quickly. I'm not a doctor. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. Adu-Gyamfi
Yes.
Abunyewa,
Thank you.
Senior Procurement Specialist, World Bank. Thank you so much for joining us. And then Dr. Bhabesh Hazarika, Economist at the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, NIPFP, which is an autonomous institution under the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Welcome to this discussion, Bhavesh.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And finally, we have Ms. Harshita Duggal, who is a manager, government relations and corporate development at Paytm and co-founder of InDevelopment. Harshita, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So now I'm going to invite all of our panelists to give their initial thoughts on, and we are probably just going to spend about 2 minutes on this response. And my first question is that what, in your opinion, are the two challenges and two opportunities in policies and practices of public procurement in India? So just your opening remarks on what do you think are the two most important challenges, two most important opportunities in the public procurement regime in India. I'm going to go to Dr. Pathak first. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good evening. In India, the public operates and very like the public by the official, by the university. This is one of the challenge. If the trust of the uh, then they try to.
Sir, I think the voice from your side, there's a little bit of a disturbance there.
In the Indian perspective, the CBI are more compliance to move some kind of radical change and adapt across the board. Challenge has to be mitigated. We can't remove it, but certainly we can have uh, uh, understanding other agencies. These two are officials or public officials not to take for not to use the discretion.
Mhm. So, from what I was able to hear, there was a lot of disturbance on the mic, Dr. Pathak. But from what I was able to hear, I think what you said was that it is very compliance oriented and it can have a lot of room from discretion. Those are probably the two big challenges. Is that right?
I'll give you two examples.
Sure.
In the health ministry, 2.5 billion rupee to procurated mosquito nets. And payment was done, everything was done.
Sure.
There is a large amount of corruption.
Sure.
Why people don't support? Large people were involved across the board office. And then there was a huge discussion in the nodal department where we went and then I asked a very simple question. Stage of procurement from bid filer bank was present. Why this is counted for? Why can't World Bank be equally accounted for? The reason
Sure.
was those companies who supplied for company only two exist means they ran away or closed whatever basic reason to make the so if are public money I am using and if there is no how do you want the procure there will be that's what the point.
Makes sense.
Just listen. We generally there are two vaccines under government. One was Kundura and one is these vaccine manufactured commercial unit. We procure from what 50% higher than their rate. Yesterday, Indian Express published a big that the government is trying public money.
Mm.
They discussing with anybody. Then I explained these vaccine manufacturer, I pay their and in India do all expenses for vaccine manufacturing after deducting this. That's it.
Sure.
In fact, it should have been even so. What I am telling you, the trust factor is any procurement or anybody taking.
Yeah. And that trust is definitely very important, and how we incorporate it in the design is the art behind designing public procurement policies, I guess.
See,
So
I
thank
don't
you.
want to be telling you my experience.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Even multilateral agency also did not trust the state.
Absolutely, absolutely.
See, we surrender all the World Bank grants. We don't the way you treat. So at least at every stage of procurement, and you blame it, why can't your World Bank officer be responsible for this? What the point is?
Hmm. Absolutely. Let me now bring in Dr. Bhabesh Hazarika for his perspective on
Yeah.
what are the two big challenges and two big opportunities for public procurement in India. Over to you.
Uh, see, if we see the size of our public, the size of our government expenditure, basically what we call the public procurement. So it's very, very large. It's around 20 to 30% of GDP for in India. So if you see the current challenges that we are facing is that we do have this L1 system
Sure.
mostly. So when we have this L1 systems, we normally, if you see the bidding processes, the quality uh, bidders, they are out of the market because they're losing the power price tag. So
Yes.
there will be many more firms. They basically fulfill the mere qualification and then they wins the bid. So that is one of the issue that the Indian public procurement system is having. There is that they are not actually getting a kind of quality
Hmm.
bidders, especially with the L1 system. That is one of the things. And the second thing is that in India, if you see different ministries, different departments, if you see the GF are also allowing it, it's kind of discrepancies there. So we do have this laws, regulations, the different kind of things. Those are very fragmented, very disturbed, and if it's very fragmented. So if we think about the streamlining, so it's
Yeah.
not very much streamlined. If you see the bidding documents also, if you go kind of procurement, same kind of items across the department, they do have different kind of rules.
Oh,
So
okay.
why we can't have a kind of similar kind of guidelines, similar kind of standard bidding documents for a single particular item? That's the one thing where we are not getting basically receiving the value for money out of our public money.
Sure.
In terms of opportunity, if you see, given the size of the public expenditure, yes, we do have a very good opportunity that we can use this public procurement as a
Uh,
demand-side
Sorry, I
instrument
think we've
to.
lost your voice, Dr. Hazarika. If we, in terms of
Am I,
money, was the last thing that I heard.
yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
So what I'm saying is that because of this fragmented relationship or fragmented rules and regulations, so what we are doing is basically we are not receiving the value for money in
Hmm.
public procurement. And going forward for the opportunity in Indian public procurement system, if you see, we have a large chunk of money going for procurement. So what I do believe is that the public procurement can be used as a demand-side instrument for innovations.
Hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
when you talk about innovation, innovation is something that we are going to procure something which is not there in the market.
Yeah.
So who do have a kind of belief. So I think government is going to give much more confidence to the new upcoming or basically the innovative or innovators, MSME you can say, or maybe any single bidders who is basically innovative in nature. So this is one thing, and I think in the recent year the government has been doing a lot of stuff in terms of streamlining the whole procurement system. If you see, we have revised the GFR. We have also bring in the manuals for works, then goods and services separately. And I think in the very recently, we are also adding this quality and cost mechanism for work as well as non-consulting services, apart from our consulting services. I think these are going to help us
Sure.
in terms of achieving the quality procurement in Indian public procurement space.
Absolutely. I really think that the idea for procuring for innovation is a great one and something that we all must think about and act more strategically on that. So thank you so much, Dr. Zarika, on that one. Now I move to Mr. Uh, Adu-Gyamfi. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I haven't been in India for a long time, but the World Bank has actually carried out a study of the procurement system using the MAP assessment, which is assessment to methodology of assessing public procurement systems between 2018 and 2020.
Sure.
And the report found a lot of very good things and things that need to be strengthened. One of the things that maybe I would say is that India is a very big economy. It's a big country. It's based on federal system. And as a result of that, there are so many procurement rules at the federal level, at each individual state levels that are not harmonized.
Yeah.
You know, each of them is having its own kind of way of approaching things.
Yep.
And I think that is a big challenge because if they were unified or if the fragmentation were reduced, then a
Yes.
lot of data could be generated from all the procurement that is happening, and then analysis could be done to see whether we are doing well, whether we are using it to help government to implement its policies or not, and then, come out with some recommendation to align. But as it
Absolutely.
is now, it's a bit fragmented and very, very difficult to, gather very good information.
Sure.
Secondly, I think that in the public service, procurement is not a professional function.
Mm.
So people are just put there for a time.
Yep.
They are trained, and just when they are getting experience and all the things, getting to understand procurement better, it's already 3-4 years, and they are changed to
Yep.
another department, and somebody is brought in. So it's making the gains that we could get from experience in handling procurement over a long period, it's eroding it.
Mhm.
It's we are not getting
Mm.
value for money for that. Unlike the CPSEs and even Ministry of Railway, you go, people are really aligned to certain functions, and
Yes.
their understanding of procurement is so super. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you talk to them, you see that these are real professionals,
Sure.
and government is not getting taking advantage of such a thing. So I see that as a big challenge. Maybe we need to look at that.
Absolutely.
Yes. When it comes to what is being done well, I think that in India, there are pockets of, excellent procurement practitioners and
Mm-hmm.
practices.
Sure.
For example, you go to Ministry of Railway, it's one of the best. You go to the PSCs, you go to all these government, let me say, SOEs in
Yeah.
government sector. They are, in fact, you see, we can really take good advantage of them. They are actually implementing various internationally acclaimed policies like sustainability, like LCC, the use of LCC and rated criteria, which is termed as QSBS in India. They are using all these, and I
Yeah.
believe that it's a good opportunity for government to, or the public sector to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
So that is one. The other thing that I see is that volume of procurement is really huge in
Yes.
India. Therefore, government can use it to influence the private sector
Mm.
to be innovative. For example, I read about the use of light bulbs, the way government went about it, and
Oh, yes.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden we are getting good results and all that. So government
Yeah.
can
With the
really
LED
use
bulbs and
exactly
yes.
LED bulbs, yes, leverage on this high volume of procurement in the public sector to actually influence the private sector to be innovative and to come out with, solutions that are sustainable and are able to help the country to develop itself quickly. So that is one opportunity that I see the public sector procurement can really do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Great points. And I think on the innovation one, there seems to be some agreement that, Dr. Pathak also said that innovation is something that the public procurement practice can drive. And I think fragmentation of rules is coming up as a big challenge, as Dr.
Yes.
Hazarika had also mentioned, and Mr. Gyanfi also mentioned. Let me go to Sahana. Sahana, if we can get your two challenges and opportunities in the public procurement sector. Over to you.
Yeah. See, in this field, I have some experience of almost 5 years now. And like you said, I'm from startup hub of Bangalore. But the thing is, it's very shiny on the paper, but when it comes to the practicality of government procurement and all such projects, the challenges are huge. Actually, if I can quote, I can quote it in 3 A's, like approach, accessibility, and accountability. Okay. Approach in the sense like as a startup, we hardly know how to approach the government just because of its complexity and the entire cumbersome process of the tendering and all those
Yeah,
policies, right? And accessibility, if I say, like, accessibility for the right kind of people and the resources and how to utilize it effectively. Okay.
sure.
Accountability in the sense like my learned friend Adu said, like, because the rules are not uniform and
Yeah,
it's so fragmented that we cannot hold one person or one particular department or any one particular entity accountable for the entire project. And
yeah,
hence, any startups or any such government or the private entities, it is so tough to approach or implement any projects in a timely and efficient manner. And
sure.
if I can say, and it's not just the problem of India, but for a developing country and the futuristic and the future opportunistic country, it is very difficult if we have such practicality and the practical problems here.
Certainly, certainly. And opportunities that you might see, Sahana.
Opportunities are huge because of the our quality of the human resources and also the innovations happening in a huge scale. There is no dearth of the talent and even government and the private resources. Just that we have to tweak and collaborate it in a very presentable manner. That's it.
Sure. And I think, there is fair agreement on the ability of public procurement to nudge innovation or to promote more
Yes.
innovative
Yeah.
solutions and companies,
Yeah.
etc. LED
Yes.
example, as Mr. Gyamfi said. Let me come over to Harshita. And Harshita, if we can have your top two challenges and opportunities.
Yeah,
Over to
yeah,
you.
yeah. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to request to switch on camera so that I can see at least, and it increases, the
Sure.
discussion perspective if anyone is comfortable. Second, again, coming to the challenges and opportunities, working in the sector for not long, like I've been in sector for long, but like working in government relations has been 4 or 5 months down the line. And again, I think this point has been added by other three panelists as well. And I think again say fragmentation is one of the major problems that even we come across. It's not that the government isn't trying, but the fact that there are different kinds of rules and regulations that aim at maintaining the discipline in the country, but also restricts innovation at the same time. And again, I think one of the panelists also emphasized on the point of lack of skills and inefficiency, which I feel is not a point. It only comes because maybe a bureaucrat is burdened with too many projects that affects their
Yeah.
efficiency and their skill set. But at the point, like I feel, even when I go to talk to people, it's just getting a time slot and understanding there are so many new projects coming and different organizations, for instance, Paytm, Google, or Flipkart, Amazon, getting into e-commerce business. But such so many projects are coming up, and I think maintaining a symphony among all these projects and only one person is allocated to that brings inefficiency and the skills are like degraded, or that is
Sure.
how in the gaps starts to widen. Second is a lack of transparency in the system. I that is what you will never know what is actually going inside the government, and what you as a private sector will also not disclose everything. So coming from a private sector, I feel the main motive always lies in profit generation, because you come from a very capitalist point of view. And that is
Sure.
why I think public procurement is very important, because it aligns both the these, that is profit making and like public goods, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So which is very important. But I still feel there's a lot of scope when you talk about opportunities. Seems like Make in India, Digital India are coming, and there are so multiple projects. I will just give one project example, that is PM Swanidhi. That is this recent government scheme that was started back in COVID, because all the street vendors went out of jobs. So government
Yep.
started this PM Swanidhi scheme, and they onboarded very private firms like Paytm for digital onboarding of sound boxes or digital payments, empowering financial people financially. Then Flipkart and Amazon for making their goods available all over India. So I think things are happening, but of course it will take time, and efficiency needs to improve. People need to employ more. There are, and India being a country of so many people, there need to be few changes in the bureaucratic selection system, because I have known people in the sector who have multiple great skills, but just because they can't clear the exam, they
Yeah.
end up, not doing the thing. So
No, for
that.
sure. So, indeed, with programs like Digital India, Make in India, there are a lot of opportunities, and think the professionalization of this whole practice of public procurement is
Yeah.
something that is emerging as a consistent theme. So, we have the opening remarks from everybody and sort of the priorities identified. Now, before entering into our more detailed discussion, let me also take the opportunity to welcome Mr. Dharmesh Khandelwal from the Desire Foundation, who's here with us. Mr. Khandelwal, if you can hear us, maybe you might just want to say hello to everybody, or else we could take your comments, etc., towards the end. Uh, okay, so I will just move into our questions now. So my first question is to Dr. Pathak, which is that with the transition from the exclusive use of lowest cost selection (LCS) method, what potential challenges and benefits do you foresee in the adoption of alternative methods for selecting bidders, especially for products categorized as POQ or projects of quality? Uh, how can the public procurement ecosystem strike a balance between cost effectiveness and the overall quality and innovation delivered by bidders, particularly when considering the diverse nature of public work? So essentially, what I'm trying to ask that, do you think that the lowest cost selection method is the best method for identifying projects of quality, and what can we do about it? So over to you, sir.
I need to answer. The lowest cost selection, or we call it L1. Certainly, the evolving world and the project procurement, and then the impact projects. Low cost L1 system, as I said, that it will way to like innovate technology, like then they create the you cannot does not provide realization also with technology. Some cases become the sole motto of the bidder. The delivery and the quality varies. The quality aspect more important to, and since we have 20% on procurement, especially the railway, telecom, they are the major procuring entity. Need felt that we should move quality-based system. Started in 2020, CBC draft paper on the government. Similarly, the C had 1-day workshop and the alternate method forward. And Niti Aayog also provided the alternate method of procurement. We spend so much and the quality is so low. They wanted to deviate from the method which was prevalent from 2017.
Sure.
So then the nodal expenditure, they accumulated all these information. They published in 21 General Financial Rule 6.1, and that guidelines under paragraph deals with the quality-oriented procurement other than consultancy, maybe the goods also.
Sure.
But there is, you read that circular,
Sure.
15 para, huge problem. I mean, so still we are struggling with time. The multilateral institutions like World Bank also came up with the system they wanted that. And then if you see the quality have around 5 type of systems. The quality come cost-based selection process where some mark on the technical weightage and this means here technical is given 70%, 60%, and the quality and evolving technology, quality-based selection where only we select once we get the rate from the bidder,
Yeah.
then price, and then we decide whether the price is right based on the life cycle cost method. Then quality come least cost. Various methodology were deliberated. Thing I like about the ADB kind what they have developed a framework. Each stage of the procurement cycle, not the only technique bidders. Your way of monitoring the had that ADB framework plays a lot. Whole procurement cycle should be a qualitative cycle, not a quality procurement. So we have to enter into that area that we cannot remove the gain the trust. But if among the people, among the officials, and we invest in the procurement and these will improve automatically. So that's the reason I was emphasizing the canon and the positive side of the canon. Yes, could be established. So quality-oriented procurement, whether it is works, whether it is there, is the call of the day.
Certainly. And I have to apologize, Dr. Pathak. We are getting your voice in lag, so we will be publishing, the transcript of this. So if there are any gaps, we'll just reach out to you and we'll get your views separately as well. But thank you for your comments. Let me now invite Dr. Hazarika. So, Dr. Hazarika, question to you that as the public procurement division expands the application of quality come cost-based selection method, what measures do you believe can be taken to ensure that the comprehensive evaluation of quality and cost aspects truly leads to improved project outcomes? How can this approach be effectively implemented to encourage innovation and sustainable solutions in non-standard works and non-consulting services with the realm of public procurement? And again, you're also free to comment on the earlier question that do you think that the least cost selection method will lead to greater emphasis on projects of quality, or what can we do about it? So over to you, Dr. Hazarika. I think you're on mute. You would, yeah,
Yeah.
over to you.
Okay. Uh, if we see about the L1 systems, we do have a lot of issues with the L1 systems. If it is a kind of standard work or standard procurement, then with better designing for the technical aspects, we don't see a problem with that. We can still achieve a kind of quality procurement that's well enough for the standard work or good procurement.
Okay.
But when we come to a kind of uh, more valued procurement, then there is problem. So there is in a kind of tendency among the bidders that they will somehow meet the technical specification, and
Sure.
when it comes to the price, so they will just abnormally low bid. They will make a
Hmm.
bid that's too low. So
Yeah.
in that sense, what happens, the quality bidder, they basically have to leave the platform.
Hmm.
So in that sense, what we are getting, we are not getting the right quality of procurement. That is the issue
Yes.
with the L1. I think I am also fortunate to share with that I was also a part of that NITI Aayog
Oh,
uh,
okay. That report that Dr. Pathak
that
recently
report.
just
Yeah.
mentioned. Okay.
So I was basically assigned as the external reviewer to that report that was prepared by the project management unit of the NITI Aayog. So
Okay.
we have done an extensive work in comparing different alternatives to L1, and then we finally suggest that QCBS could be a kind of instrument that's going to get us kind of greater quality procurement if we think about the other non-standard, then the other consultancy services. So I think that is one of the excellent beginning when we talk about the Indian public procurement system. And if you say in recent year also, the government is also emphasizing more on infrastructure projects. The central government, they are pushing up capex, and also they are also providing the interest-free loan to the states. That states should must pitch in the capex also. So eventually, the many of the states, they are also going for more capex. So I think it is going to give a kind of boost to the infrastructure. So it is very important that when we say that whether QCBS is going to give us a kind of quality procurement. If you
Sure.
see at the current juncture, we have allowed around 30%. We are basically giving a weightage of 30% to the quality and 70% to the price. It's still very kind of
Cost focused.
yes. So a lot more basically depends when we say about the quality procurement. A lot more depends on the design,
Sure.
how we are designing the evaluation process, how much weightage we are going to give the quality.
Yeah.
So I think if we could have been done better by assigning a little bit higher quality. See,
Yeah.
we have this in consultancy services, we have 70/30 or 60/40. We can go up to that.
Sure.
I think here at least we can go by another 10% or 20% could have been better.
Sure.
uh, anyway, I think it's still an excellent beginning. I think we have to take measures in terms of ensuring quality. Say, for example, it's very important to conduct pre-bid meetings with the prospective bidders. Say, for example,
Mhm.
when we say about the skill level of the government officials, the procurement officials, yeah, we
Yeah.
have seen a lot of people who are very skilled.
Yes.
Like Harshita said, that the efficiency does matters.
Yes.
So I think there needs to be a work to be done, because when we conduct the pre-bid meetings, so we do come to know about the technical specification, so we can go for more refined. Because
Yes.
if you have to ensure a kind of qualitative procurement, your bid document has to be very standardized, and your
Yes.
technical specification rest has to be very streamlined. If you do a kind of very loose manner clauses, then it is not going to help you out there. So I think that is
Yes.
very important. And if you see in most of the cases, this technical specification, when we assign anything into that, it's very subjective.
Hmm.
So we need to break it down, and we need to try to make it as much as possible objectivity, even though the parameter will be subjective, but we need to give a little bit more objective so that when we score them, so we'll be able to compare one-to-one match.
Sure.
I think there is
And
a great example. Yeah. Yeah.
no,
You
please
wanted to
go
say
ahead. I'll
something?
have very small two questions, but I'll come to that after you finish your thought.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that we have to very streamline in terms of the clauses that we are putting in terms of the our specification, basically the technical specifications.
Sure.
So in many bit document we said that we got this overall idea. Okay, we are going to score in like this way, but
Sure.
just the missing point is that we do miss out how much weight we are going to give the sub factors even with
Yes.
the major components. So we need to go more and more deeper so that the evaluation will be much better in terms of our technical specifications. What is missing in Indian context is that we do not use a kind of benchmarking. Like Adu is saying that we can, if we can, because right now we also have this e-procurement system. So we do
Sure.
have a lot of data, but I don't think we are using those data. So this is a great opportunity if we can use those data for benchmarking. Yes, we do have some sort of data in terms of, say, for example, how many days we are taking from RFP publication to award of the tenders. But when we think about the technical specification, those things are missing.
And
So we need to,
do
yeah.
you think that organizations such as BEE with their gold standards, or LEED with their building standards, etc., they bring in some form of objectivity in that?
Yes,
At the
yes, yes,
same
yes.
time, perhaps the challenge is that where there is objectivity, those objective parameters need to be included in the guidelines of
Mhm.
procurement in the
Mhm.
state governments, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No? Okay, we need to go for a pre-bid meeting with the bidders as well as the subject expert, so that
Mm,
we'll be refining those things. That's very crucial. If you see in many procurement, the pre-bid that's basically missing, and
yeah,
many times it's very casuals.
yeah,
So that feedback mechanism is very important uh, when you are talking about this quality. Say, for example, if you see, we had a very good example of modernizing these airports when eventually government decided to modernize the Delhi airport as well the Mumbai airports. So there's a lot of issues in terms of evaluation criteria. So
sure,
as part of the initial evaluation, the Reliance infrastructure, they were getting higher weightage, and somehow they were cleared to go for the financial bid openings.
sure,
But those initial remarks were again sent to the empowered committee of ministers. So and they also appointed some other committees to review all those evaluation criteria, and they found that there's a lot of discrepancies while
sure,
assigning the weightage. And finally, they found that only the GMR, they were qualified in terms of technical specification to take up this
yeah,
modernization of
modernization.
IGI airports. So those things are very important. So to ensure quality, I think this is one of the foremost thing that we need to working out. Okay, the parameter, we need this parameter, and we need to have a kind of better evaluation criteria.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about how to accommodate this innovation, see, when we say about innovation, so innovation is something that it is not in the market.
Yeah,
So we have to give those bidders the confidence. Okay, you are coming up with innovation, you are coming up with sustainable solutions. So we need to give them more confidence by giving more weightage in terms of your quality, so that they'll be okay. If we propose this kind of innovative solutions, okay, we have to quote a higher price, but we have a better chance of winning because now we have going to get more weightage in terms of quality. I think
absolutely.
that is very crucial at this juncture. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think
Thank you, Dr. Hazarika. We're going to come back to you. I'm going to move to Mr. Adu-Gyamfi Abunyewa. And my question to you, sir, is that in the pursuit of improving its public procurement practices, how can India draw lessons from successful models in other countries? Of course, can never be a copy paste. It has to be contextualized and tailored to Indian needs. Uh, which specific global best practices are the most relevant to India's procurement landscape, and how can these practices be tailored to address the country's unique challenges and sustainable development and opportunities? Or what are some of the current practices that you think can be scaled, and how? Over to you.
So thank you very much. This is a very important question because based on our study that we did, MAP study, we found that almost all the very useful and important areas, strategic areas of procurement that India may have to scale up or use in the country to its advantage
Yeah.
are all found in the country. So in answering your question, I'm not even going to refer to any country
Okay. Okay. Sure.
because almost everything is in the country, but they are in pockets, small pockets.
Sure.
And nobody is actually exploring them, coming out with lessons that have been learned, and maybe see the gaps that are in there and then scaling them up.
Sure.
So let me pick them one by one, So
Sure.
for example, when it comes to end-to-end electronic procurement system, and end-to-end, we are talking about from the planning stage up to contract, closing. That means that everything should be done and reported through the e-procurement system.
Sure.
And that gives you volumes of data, not only for you to look at the upstream part where you do the planning and also do the actual bidding, but also the downstream part of contract implementation. You asked Dr. Hazarika a question
Yeah.
about how do we ensure. The thing is that when you use quality to actually evaluate bids and you award contracts to the bidders, everything that they have promised in their bid must be delivered. If
Absolutely.
we don't do that, the private sector will just take the public sector for granted and will just write good things just to get a contract. And once they get a contract, that is the end of it.
Yeah.
So I believe that preparation of key performance indicators that will allow the monitoring of the contract implementation as they are going on to check whether what were promised in the proposals are actually being delivered or not, and holding the contractor, to their promise, or punishing them by letting them pay for something that should have been delivered and not delivered. I mean, the market would understand this language very well, that we
Absolutely.
don't take the public sector for granted. When we promise something, we must deliver.
Yeah.
And we know that if we want to win contracts that will deliver quality, sustainable outputs, then we must be innovative and think very hard. Look
Sure.
at the methodologies that we are going to use to approach, look at the methodologies of construction, look at safety issues, look at all the important issues that will bring quality outcome. And these things, they are being done in this country already. There are
Sure.
some PSEs, we have India Railway. They do this quality approach, quality methodology approach, or rated criteria approach, and they come out with KPIs which they use to actually monitor contracts to be delivered. I think it's here. I won't mention any other country because I believe they are not doing better than what is being done here, except that these things are not upscaled. They are
Sure.
just found in some pockets here and there. When it comes to sustainable procurement, for example, of late, there has been a lot of discussion. The World
Yes.
Bank has led a roundtable discussion on sustainable procurement. We are trying to find out what are the best practices. How can we take advantage of them? Does the market really even understand what sustainable practice is? And does government maybe need to do some education, and build the capacity of the private sector so that they will deliver for the government itself,
Sure.
because sometimes we prepare nice policies on the side of government, but at the blind side of the market. The market doesn't know this is what you want, but the market so they will not be able to deliver. So whatever policies we come out, we should really bring it out for the market to know that, look, this is what government is looking for. And this is what we expect you to deliver. And maybe we help them with knowledge about how they can deliver this. And once that is done, it's an asset for the country and it's going to be done over and over again. So sustainable procurement, for example, we note that Punjab state and the railway, sector, they are really, in fact, Punjab state has recently come out with a guidance note on sustainable procurement. All right, which is going to guide them going forward, because we are all talking about climate change. Sustainable procurement, one aspect of it is green procurement. The others are the social part and then the economic growth part. Okay. And we must all put our hands together. We do not expect that if we want to really, really implement climate change actions, either adaptation or mitigation actions, we don't expect that only one or two entities will be doing this. We will
All
not
of
get
them.
any benefit, So we really need to explore those who are doing it and try and see how we can upscale this countrywide. And it will come through policies, it will come through regulations, it will come through guidance notes, it will come through bidding documents, and it will come through engagement with the private sector. One of the things that the government, the public sector fails to do is to engage with the private sector. I think we are all in for to help the country to develop.
Yes.
Except that the objectives of each party is different. Whilst the private sector is about profitability, the public sector is about excellent service delivery for its citizens. But we can align these together, and then. So I think that these are the things. One of the things that circular economy concept to reduce waste, for example, to ensure that there's recycling of waste materials and those kind of things, we need to upscale it. Some entities are doing it, especially the PSCs. They are doing it. We need to upscale it in the construction industries. For example, if you are going to let's say demolish and build a new, definitely what you are demolishing, the waste, some of it can be used somehow, so how do you recycle parts and portions that can be used instead of just throwing everything away and going for and exploiting new resources altogether, and these are the things
So
that
you're
are
saying that
affecting.
even the circular economy parameters can be incorporated in the public
Exactly.
procurement guidelines? Okay, that's
Exactly.
okay.
So what I'm saying, of course, we don't have to go one big bang that one day everybody wakes up and we say,
Sure.
what we are going, we must have a roadmap of
Yes.
implementation and see how gradually, sometimes we can pilot it at certain levels and gradually, roll it out, maybe at the union level first, and then to
Yes.
some of the states that have got the capacity and that kind of thing. So, and another area, when it comes to technology and especially IT, I don't
Yes.
think anywhere in the world can compare themselves to India,
Sure.
because even the United States that is leading in this, they have a lot of the professionals are coming from India,
Yeah.
So India can explore its own, best practices and skills in developing, for example, end-to-end e-procurement system, where all the downstream part of contracting and information and even data analytics, where data that is captured by the e-procurement system would go through visualization so that people can see that this is actually what we are doing and the impact we are making, and also some analytics to guide us and that kind of thing. So it is here and we can do it. For example, government e-marketplace, the GEM, they are doing a great job, which can actually be upscaled.
Yes.
Now most of it, it's in goods part and services. I think we can expand it to cover works aspects and all that, and also build in modules that will also look at the downstream part that I'm talking about, the contract implementation, KPIs, and they can display these results plainly on their website for everybody to see how procurement is doing, the benefit that procurement is bringing to the country, the impact that procurement is, because procurement is no more the procurement that we used to know, administrative kind of thing. Now it's strategic, and people must see what it is delivering, and so that is one part of it that we can look at. And there are many. One of the areas that personally I believe the country may have to strengthen its strength or its capacity is contract management.
Contract management, yes.
Because you can award the best of contracts, you can do the perfect procurement. If you don't do good contract management, a lot of the leakages can happen at contract implementation stage. So government may need to build the skills of
those
capacities to take, when it comes to contract implementation and decision making, it is the worst. In fact, when there's a request for extension of time, or maybe the scope is to be increased to bring out some benefits and that kind of thing, you see that people who are in charge are afraid to make decisions because of audit kind of, sometimes the way audit will bring out the issue as if you have stolen something when you haven't. So people are afraid of that and are not able to come. I'm thinking that government should look at how these decisions are made. Instead of instituting it in one person, maybe there can be a committee of a finance person, a technical person, and a legal person who will look at contract issues that come out holistically. And say that the committee has looked at it from legal point of view. We have looked at the clauses and we think that this clause supports this or does not support it. And then from financial point of view, we think that it will actually inure to the benefit of government, and from technical point of view, it is doable or it is not doable, those kind of things. Because let me tell you the truth, anytime there's a delay on decision in contract implementation, government is losing money. But people don't count it. People don't look at it. On the contractor side, when they delay one day, we call something delay liability. We are charging them for delaying the benefit that will come to the people. But when on the government side, they delay in making decision for contractor to move on, nobody counts the cost. Okay, nobody counts the cost, so it can be there and nobody cares, and it stays there. And in fact, when people don't make decisions, auditors don't normally go after them. After all, you didn't make a decision. But if people make innovative decisions that auditors think that, oh, this one is adding some money to it, so it's a loss of money, they go after them. So people are afraid, to take innovative decisions in contract implementation. And I think that either government sets up this committee or get some retired skilled people as a sort of committee to look at contract implementation issue on its behalf and
Absolutely.
advise them, so that at the end of the day, whoever is taking a decision will base its decision on experts,
Yes.
professionals who have advised. And so that advice is what I'm taking into consideration. So don't hold me. It's, so that people will feel insulated and feel
Sure.
confident enough to be able to take some of
And
these
it's
decisions.
about establishing that trust to bring in a little more, openness into the
Exactly.
system. So, no,
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
amazing ideas.
Yes.
These are
In
some
fact, one
really good
area
ideas.
in contract is dispute resolution
Mm-hmm.
systems
Oh,
that
okay.
can actually be set up. Let's say dispute
Yeah.
adjudication board or dispute resolution board, which can be set up so that
Yeah.
immediately any dispute is coming up, they will look at it and settle it quickly. Because
Exactly.
going to arbitration and to the court are very expensive.
Very expensive
Very
indeed.
expensive. But in the public sector, decision makers are happy to go to the court, so that if the court says government must pay her, it's not me. You
Yeah.
don't hold me responsible.
Yeah.
It's the court that has said,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think, that is giving us value for money that we are expecting. So we can look at this. There are a number of little things that are being practiced in the country that I believe we can explore. We can
Absolutely.
look at them, explore, learn lessons, and then upscale or even make policies out of them so that others will also learn to bring value for money to government.
Certainly, absolutely. I think these are some really, really good ideas. I can already visualize the paper that will come out of this and would make for some great recommendations. Okay, let me now quickly move on to Ms. Harshita Duggal. So, Harshita, as someone deeply involved in government relations and corporate development at Paytm, how do you see partnerships of private sector companies with the government of India to transform the GEM platform, contributing to the goal of enhanced transparency, efficiency, inclusivity in public procurement? And also, in your opinion, how can the adoption of new technologies and an improved user experience, as outlined in the GEM initiative, drive greater participation from diverse vendors, especially SMEs, MSMEs, and how can it democratize the access to the public sector market?
Uh,
Harshita, over to you.
yeah, hello. So yeah, first of all, I wanted to introduce this one new term before like going on with the question. If everyone has heard of ONDC, that is the Open Network of Digital Commerce. This is
Sure.
one of the new initiatives that the government has started. So as in layman terms, I'll explain how Amazon and Flipkart is a system where it delivers, it hires people, it display the products, everything. So here the government tries to break down all these sectors, like delivery will be different, picking up of the products will be different, which creates new opportunities and like a wider domain for people, and also reduces the dominance of the big firms.
Sure.
So because as once the power abides with the big firms, I feel the small entrepreneurs and employers, they lack voice in general also. And I think the major part of the public procurement is that everyone's voice should be heard in a way.
Absolutely.
So I feel that ONDC in general is a great initiative in such a way that it tries to give everyone
Yes.
a space. Yeah. So I'll go by, I have like a roadmap. First of all,
Okay.
expertise in optimization and automation. So instead of having a one layman person or a politician or a bureaucrat or sector, I think that there should be a streamlined structure with an expertise in every particular domain that the
Mhm.
government has to start doing. And even with the private sector, for example, digital payments, there should be expertise in government sector for digital
Sure.
payment. Of course, there is an organization, MITI, and Ministry of Electronic Affairs. DPIIT, everything is
Sure.
available, but we still need one exact person who is only looking after, okay. So even in like digital payments, there are a lot of things, onboarding payments or digital inclusivity, or somebody looking after the cyber fraud, somebody looking after AI. So I
Yeah.
feel like there should be some streamlined optimization in that way. Second, reduce, I think the whole crux of public procurement is to divide the power.
Yeah.
I feel that if the only one individual holds the power, the impact, and he gets to call the shots. He, she, they, whatever, gets to call the shots. So I think it's very important that we reduce that the power. So the structure should be streamlined, and to streamline the structure, that is how the whole concept of public and private partnerships come forward. Then the role of SMEs, SMEs and MSMEs is one of the really, really important part and aspect of it, because it gives representation to a lot
Yes.
of small businesses. So we have even earlier, I think there was a lot of problem for women entrepreneurs not getting into sector. But
Yeah.
if you look into and research properly, there are a lot of government schemes that are coming to help women take loans. Because in India, as we know, the structure is little patriarchal, not little, actually, it's fully patriarchal most of the time. So women do not have property in their names. As a result, they can't take loans. So there are schemes like Mudra, which help women to take loans and start their own business. And this has been given representation via the MSME sector and Mudra schemes. Then we have digital onboarding and user face interface.
So you're saying that those could also be incorporated in the public procurement requirements? Okay.
Yeah. Because my whole point is to increase the representation of people.
Sure.
Like similar on the lines of how we have reservation.
Sure.
Not reservation here, but like, increasing the representation of different communities, different groups, different kind of businesses.
So I am seeing actually what you're saying makes a lot of sense and also gels very well with what Mr. Gyamfi was saying, that public procurement could be a little more strategic. It could nudge the sustainability value system. It could also nudge the gender equity value system. It could nudge the innovation value system. So it can really be used in a strategic way to achieve the overall objectives of the government. So makes sense. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Ash.
Yes. So for example, now we have started with a user-friendly interface. So with the UPI payments also, this is a small example of user-friendly. So
Sure.
you don't have to have a particular app. Like you don't have to be a Paytm user or a Google Pay
Yeah.
user. You can just scan and like payment will be done because it's linked to
Yeah.
your account. So things like this has to come into account because it increases transparency. It becomes user-friendly. As a result, there are a lot of people who are digitally onboarded. So I think, as I mentioned before, also Make in India and Digital India, two major platforms that we need to I think potentialize our major events or projects that we're looking forward. So it increases these plans also, these schemes actually increase our market access and networking, because once everyone gets digital connected, there is less chance of corruption, which is again an
Yes.
important aspect, and more transparency. You know where the money goes. So that's it. And
No, absolutely. Thank you. Those are, I think, some very good ideas, Harshita, and especially, the idea of, having sort of gender-based parameters in public procurement. I think that's a very, very interesting and important idea. So thank you. Let me move over to Sahana. Sahana, my question to you is that a startup that strives for innovation and quality, how do you think startups can effectively leverage access to government tenders and without getting caught in the race to the bottom scenario where prices become the sole focus? We've touched upon this a little, but what strategies would you recommend to ensure that startups can maintain their commitment to quality and innovation while competing in the public procurement landscape? And additionally, from a government perspective, what strategies should be adopted to ensure that the procurement process values quality and innovation while providing opportunities for startups. So essentially the question is again a value versus cost question, and how are startups impacted by that and what can they do? So over to you.
Thank you. So the advantage of startups is like they have lower overheads and also innovate faster than the well-established companies. So they can use and leverage this kind of advantage to provide more value and kind of POQ, like projects of quality with good USP, like unique selling point. Okay, and they can finish such projects more efficient and in a very timely manner than the established companies. But the problem is again access. So I guess they have to, or the startups have to leverage the opportunities like hackathon and such innovative platforms to show the demo. And also because of their costs are lower, they can compete over the price too.
Sure.
Not just about reaching the bottom, but in a very competitive price manner. For
Sure.
for example, in medtech and healthcare sector, dialysis machines of some well-established company and the startups have so much gap. So such
You mean a cost gap or a
yeah,
capability gap?
cost gap,
Cost
and
gap.
also like to complete such projects in a very smart and sustainable manner, the opportunities for an innovative and the emerging startups is higher.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
can use such technological interventions to find out the sustainability and in a very smart solution manner.
Sure.
On the similar lines, and actually startups and their talent and the skill force are more into in adopting the new technologies in comparison to the well-established companies, because they have so many internal process, internal audit, that so such complicated process are not there in the startups, because they have such that Duggal or anything to get it done in a very timely manner and smart manner, actually. For example, like Harshita said, the one biggest example is again fintech companies and the payment gateway of India, because since the companies like Paytm or any other platforms gave, that UPI became so common in India that government also had to do so many innovations within the UPI ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Same with the ONDC and the ABDM, personal health apps, for example. I guess government, such private and startups have to give and demonstrate for the government sector that yes, we can do it in this way, than setting in the, price and the rat race of getting the tenders or anything, projects that way. And another way to explore the strategy, I guess startups can, collaborate with the established companies. For example, it actually feels very ridiculous to me. I don't know whether I can quote right now, but still, I know we are spending only around 670 crore for a event. For a technological or advancement like space in through Chandrayaan 3. But at the same time, we have spent for income tax payment and that maintenance at 4,230 crores. Can you imagine that? Like instead of giving it to the one well-established company like Infosys, I guess any fintech smart companies could do it in a very efficient and
cost-effective
manner, right? Yeah. So I guess we have to explore more collaborations and demonstrations when it
Absolutely.
comes to
I think the demonstration bit also becomes super important over here.
Yeah, exactly. And to come to the third point of what government can do. Actually, our government of India have explored few of such strategies and nudge. For example, Startup India and they're doing hackathons nowadays to give the solutions or any such through the competitions and any such smart interventions. One example for me, which I found.
So these you're saying could be some new and innovative methodologies for procurement, like hackathon.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And one example for me, which I found interesting and very futuristic, and there is room for improvement, of course, government e-marketplace, where, startups can register to become a service provider and sellers. I guess every state government also should have such marketplace, and it should be accessible. And there should not be, again, more such fragmentation and so many rules and regulations. There should be some uniformity over all the state and central government. I feel so. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think those are some great points over there, Sahana. Thank you so much.
Am I audible or is some...
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Your end or my end, I don't know.
Oh, looks like there's an internet connection issue from my end.
No, I think your internet is fine. It's Sahana's.
It is Arpit's, is it?
Well, no, it was probably one of ours, but we are back again. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I will explain about the government e-marketplace.
I was able to hear you. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Sahana. And now, with that, we come to the close of our main discussion. Let me invite Mr. Dharmesh Khandelwal, if he's here, from Desire Foundation to share a few words. And then we'll also share a video from Desire Energy. So, Dharmesh, if you can unmute yourself and probably share a few words. Okay, by the time we wait for Dharmesh, maybe if I could request Jay from my team to showcase the Desire Foundation's video. Over to you, Jay.
Every year, 2 lakh people in our country die due to inadequate access to safe drinking water. Despite being a water surplus country, half of our population faces water shortage. The problem is not scarcity of water. The problem is a poorly managed water supply system. In our conventionally managed system, about 40% of supplied water is lost due to leakages, lack of maintenance, and other factors.
We realized something needs to be changed, and this led to the foundation of Desire Energy, a tech-driven water management company working passionately towards making water management smart, efficient, and sustainable. Through our different teams, such as ESCO for energy efficiency in water infrastructure,
Smart EPC for sustainable water infra development,
decentralized water management for rural water supply,
Ecologics for tech-driven water solutions,
Sun Aquater, our smart agriculture solar pumping system.
We are ensuring access to quality drinking water for the people of India in the most sustainable and efficient manner.
Aligning with India's target for net zero emission by 2070, Desire Energy is among the first BE certified ESCO companies.
Bringing experience and expertise in the areas of hydraulic modeling, pumping system design, and tech-driven platforms, helping us achieve up to 70% energy saving in public water supply system. At Desire Energy, we are known for our on-time, efficient, and sustainable development of water infrastructure projects. Through our smart management tools, tech-driven solutions, and technical expertise, we make the conventional water infrastructure more efficient, economical, and sustainable, thus ensuring equal and uninterrupted access of water to all. We are currently providing uniform water supply to around 22,000 plus villages under Jal Jeevan Mission.
Desire Energy helps save life by providing innovative solutions to remote areas striving for clean and regular water without any dependence on electricity.
Our community-based solar DFU units, RO system and ATM-based water dispenser have resolved the problem of transmission of clean water to fluoride and TDS affected areas. Aqualogics, our in-house IoT and RTU-based product, which helps us to automate project management, live data monitoring, and provide predictive and breakdown maintenance solutions. For example, when a pumping system experiences any issues, be it mechanical stress or any breakdowns, an alert is generated through Aqualogics, which is sent to the command center. Further, these alerts are sent to field teams based on their priorities and corresponding SMAs. Aqualogics is all about monitoring and management, be it cost, energy, and most importantly, water.
For these path-breaking innovative ideas, Desire Energy was honored with the National Award in the Service Sector by PM Shri Narendra Modi, Udyog Ratna Award by then CM of Rajasthan, Srimati Vasundhara Raje, and many more prestigious awards in the past years.
We are a team of 2,000 plus people, and every one of us is passionate about solving the water management problem.
Our work culture promotes innovative ideas, leadership, and new learnings.
We provide a productive and cheerful environment for all of us to grow together as better human beings and better professionals. As an organization, we give utmost importance to our core values: trust, transparency, technology, and partnership.
Our vision is to create an ecosystem where we can work as an aggregator with multiple stakeholders with a single aim of transforming public water infrastructure for our nation and for the entire world.
Thank you so much, Jay. And let me now see if Mr. Khandelwal can join us and to give a very brief vote of thanks to all the speakers present here.
Hello. Hi, Arpit. Hi.
Hi, Dharmesh. Yeah.
Thank you. I would like to, on behalf of Desire Energy and Desire Foundation, I would like to thank everyone for being a part of this panel. This indeed was a very amazing session, and we, as part of the Desire Energy, also believes in, especially in these times where public investment is increasing with such a pace, that there should be a quality-based selection for all the public requirements, so that all the money invested can be put into the right use. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the great session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Since we are a little over time, actually quite over time, so we will not be able to have a Q&A from the audience. Really sorry about that. But if there are any questions from the audience, you can still email that to us at info@globalpolicyinsights.org, and we can reach out to the speakers and get you to have the answers to your questions. Thank you so much on behalf of Insights International to Dr. Pathak, Dr. Hazarika, Mr. Harshita, and Sahana. This was indeed a very, very enlightening discussion, and I'm sure we would be able to identify some very innovative areas and to sort of take steps towards building a strategic roadmap for using public procurement for the development of the country. So thank you so much, everybody. It has indeed been a pleasure. And thanks to all of the audience who has been here to patiently absorb all of the perspectives and views from all of the eminent speakers. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. But you left the PPP, permanent PPP system.
Yes.
Maybe we may continue again. That's a little
Absolutely,
complicated.
we must get together again to discuss PPP. Absolutely, Dr. Pathak.
Because we were in basic.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
because we
PPP,
have it has to be taken up.
Let's do that. Let's do that. We must get together again and discuss PPP. We would love to. Thank you so much for your time, and you have a good evening, good night. Bye bye. Thanks.